It's Tango Alpha Lima, Joe and Adam here, and please introduce yourself if they don't already know who you are. Adam.
Hi, I'm Christine Wormuth. I'm the 25th Secretary of the Army, and I've been Secretary for almost 4 years now. So this is my fourth Army-Navy game.
Outstanding.
Well, it's so great to have you here. It is your fourth Army-Navy game indeed. Can you talk a little bit about what the Army-Navy game means to you, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, I mean, I think professionally, I would say it's sort of it's our Super Bowl at least,
Yeah.
Between Army and Navy, and it's a great opportunity for the country to see both teams. I think to see a little bit of our military, to see how we can not only compete but also work together the other 364 days of the year.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good point that you bring up, the camaraderie that happens here. And your husband, you're saying, was in the Navy. Joe's obviously in the Navy. I was in the Army.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about the camaraderie that happens on the field, but how that also translates to the camaraderie between the Army and the Navy and all the allied forces?
Sure. Most of what I've seen on the field, it gets pretty fierce down there.
Yeah.
Those athletes are taking it pretty seriously. But I do think together both teams share an appreciation for the traditions of the game, the march on, the flyovers, the singing of the national anthem, the singing of the school's alma maters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition on the field of friendly strife, but there are some great traditions of camaraderie as well.
I wanted to say that I'm really glad that I didn't wear that same shirt today. I had it in Navy, actually, and so it would have been so embarrassing, but I wanted to show off the nice vest, and I didn't want to cover it up too much.
Yeah, well, I love your American Legion merch there. It's
Well,
good.
and the American Legion loves, everything that you guys are doing. I mean, honestly, being here is a big deal for us. We really do love it. It's both of our first games.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
so I've been told more than once that once you come to the game and you feel the energy, you'll never forget it. And I'm afraid that I'm going to have to start wrapping my life around needing to be at this game every year. So.
It is a pretty once-in-a-lifetime experience, I have to say. Before becoming secretary, I had not been to the game. I'd seen it on TV, but it's a pretty incredible experience. Just the energy, the vibe, it's a pretty pitched competition. There's so many people there. It's pretty great. I'm sure you'll have a great time.
I have one more. I was going to ask, what is it, what do you say to the haters that say that the Secretary of the Army is like the Vice Secretary of the Navy?
I guess I haven't met those haters.
Yeah,
I'm the only one.
Send them my way. We'll take care of them. Well, we're so grateful to have you here, and as the Legion being a sponsor of the game, looking forward to a very fruitful relationship with the Army-Navy game going forward. One of the things that I did want to talk to you about, a little bit about veterans' mental health, because at American Legion we have the Be the One. USAA title sponsor is now having the Face the Fight. VA is doing research into alternative therapies. So looking at these leaders and future leaders, what are your thoughts on mental health for the future of our warfighters, both from a leadership perspective, but also from the ability to be able to heal our warfighters when they come home?
I think resilience is really, really important. So the Army has been investing a lot in behavioral health, not just to, help some of our folks who may be struggling with experiences they've had in combat, but just frankly to promote resilience. As you know, being in the military, it can be a hard life. There's a lot of stressors, and to really function at your peak, you need to have access to those kind of resources. And something that me and General George try to emphasize is, getting help, getting mental health support is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength.
Absolutely.
I've seen a counselor myself many times over the years.
Same here.
It's helped me. So I would really encourage people to take advantage of it, and I think it's really important whether you're actively serving or a veteran.
Well, I think that's so important that leaders like you are able to be out front and being able to share and advocate and help send that message forward. when I got out, I started a nonprofit to work in the veteran mental health space and also do advocacy work, helping to get veterans access to psychedelic-assisted therapies to help combat the traumatic brain injury and PTSD. So that's one of the reasons that I was so excited to come to the Legion, was because of their willingness to be forward-thinking, innovative, and saying, hey, let's have a conversation about these things, let's research these things, and let's figure out the ways to bring them forward. So I think your perspective is so needed and really appreciate that.
Well, and I really appreciate the work that groups like the Legion are doing in that area, looking at what are some alternative treatments. We also have been doing a lot of work looking into traumatic brain injury and how we can do a better job of baselining all our soldiers so we have a cognitive assessment when they come into the Army and that we can compare it back to, over time. We're really looking at how can we do more to give our soldiers protective equipment to, kind of cushion them from blast impacts. Because it's clear that some of our weapon systems, if you have multiple exposures, can have some impacts. And we want to do more to take care of our soldiers in that area.
But those big guns are so fun.
Yeah, having got to fire a tank once, I can say, it's pretty cool.
We need to get you up in Apache. That's the best.
So as a non-combatant protected by the Geneva Convention, I was not supposed to have ever fired a 50 cal. So, but hypothetically, had I done it, it was awesome.
Hypothetically,
it was awesome. But realistically, I do want to say that you being able to take care of our guys, out there, and I say our guys, including the Army, because this game is a game, but this is the one game where everybody on both sides doesn't want anybody to get hurt.
That's absolutely right.
And I think that there's a professionalism there and there's a love there that undermines the playful banter that branches have and the joking that we do. Because realistically, we can say what we want, but if things went south, we're back to back. We take care of each other, and that's what we do. And so I want to thank you for being in front and leading and being able to talk about things like mental health, because this isn't, it's something that there's a stigma, and we've got to get rid of that. We've got to be willing to say, hey, I've gotten help. I reached out for help before I even felt like I needed it, because it was like, why wait? And I think we're at a point now, and we've talked about this in the past couple of days, like, why wait until you're sinking?
100%. 100%. And I think, mental health is a challenge for everybody across the country. It's not
Human
just
beings.
folks who have served in uniform. I think, Americans have been through a lot with the pandemic, with, rising costs. And so you're right. It's not smart to wait until you're already struggling.
Well, some people say that being the Secretary of the Army may be a little stressful at times. What do you do personally to maintain that physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual balance?
I do two things, really. I try to work out pretty regularly.
Nice.
I have a Peloton, and when the weather's not too cold, I like to run. I ran the Army 10-miler this fall. But I also try to do meditation. There's lots of great free apps like Headspace, or actually, if you have the Peloton app, they have another. I'm like a Facebook sponsor of Peloton. But I'm a big believer in meditation, and you don't need like some fancy course to do that.
Right.
I find that to be kind of centering for me.
I did get to go to Joe Dispenza retreat, and I did 35 hours of meditation in 1 week.
Wow.
And it changed my life.
Yeah.
I love meditation because it's like time travel. Even if you accidentally fall asleep, it just seems to go. But honestly, on the backside of it, it's like the sub-processing does a better job than front processing sometimes. And sometimes you really just need to be at peace.
Yeah. And I think the other thing for wellness that I'm not always very good at, frankly, is sleep. If you're not getting a decent amount of sleep every night,
That's right.
you're definitely going to be struggling with stress. Your body really needs that time to recover and kind of regenerate. And so I had a great aide who's super fit. He's in the Ranger Regiment. He always used to say, ma'am, if you have to choose between sleep and your workout, choose sleep.
Yeah. I use his book. He wrote a book. I use his book to go to sleep.
Thanks, Joe. Well, it's been so great having you here with us. Hopefully this weekend isn't too stressful for you, but rather a time when you can kind of recharge and enjoy. Joe?
I am looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow.
How many touchdowns do you predict Army will win by and beat Navy?
I am predicting, because all the games I've been to as Secretary have been close.
Yeah,
so I'm
they
predicting
are. They really are.
one touchdown
Okay.
is spread, maybe like 24-17.
we had the play-by-play for the Black Knights on, and he predicted 3 points. And I said, if anybody's gonna have a close prediction, it's gonna be him.
that's true.
So I like 3 or 7. Okay.
We'd love you to sign this.
Yeah,
and also
Yeah.
let us know where we can find out more about you. We can follow you around on it's already on. It's the end of it.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I have a Secretary of the Army Instagram page.
Oh, great.
We try to be pretty active on social media, but I would also, particularly for the weekend, go check out West Point's Instagram account. They have got a great page with some hilarious spirit videos, and just anyone who wants to know anything about West Point, you can find it there.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me,
Thanks so
guys.
much, ma'am.
Yeah, of course. I got an opportunity recently to go visit the Naval Academy, and I never wanted to be an officer until I walked onto those grounds. I mean, there's really just something beautiful. I'd love to visit West Point.
My sister lives in Annapolis, and I've been to the Naval Academy a couple times. It is a beautiful campus.
It is beautiful.
But I have to say, I'm partial to West Point. Summer, fall, winter.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's kind of austere. It's all these big gray stone towering buildings, but it's beautiful. So you'll have to come and visit.
Outstanding, and thank you so much for your time. Your time is so valuable, and we take your time very seriously. And so we do appreciate you. We won't keep you here the full 6 hours.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for having
you
me.
so much, ma'am. This has been Tango Alpha Lima with the 25th Secretary of the Army at the 125th meeting of Army-Navy.
Hoorah.